Okay, friends. I think we are good. I had to unplug everything the other day and I forgot that, so I needed to replug everything in. Hello, Rhonda. Thanks for joining. Okay. Oh, one more thing. One more thing and then we'll start. Sorry guys, still not quite used to this. Okay, I think we're good. Hello, 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 hi and hello. Okay. I know this card is here. It's a tease. We're not going to start with this card. But this is going to actually be the last card that we make today. And we have a fun little inside. And we have fun happenings on the front. But I'm going to wait until we do that card to show you. So let's do the hardest card first, shall we? It's not hard. I promise it's not hard. Rhonda, can you let me know? Do you hear me okay? I want to make sure I have everything plugged in and working well. Okay, so we are going to do some fun things today. Well, I think they're always fun things, but sometimes they go askew. Alright, so today we are going to use, the May stamp of the month, Little Stinkers, and these guys are just adorable. They're the cutest little stinkers. Sometimes life just stinks. Welcome, little stinker. I smell a birthday. I stink at goodbyes, and stinkin' cute. So, and 5 different little skunkies. And this is great because you don't have to color anything if you don't want to. I mean, obviously, if there's flowers and stuff, you probably want to color those. But you don't have to. And today, we aren't. We're going simple today. So we're using this little guy right here, and I stink at goodbyes. And we're going to make a black and white-esque card. We are also using the Mini Misty because it helps get really black images. So Archival Black, and then we are going to do some heat embossing. So we are going to use the white embossing powder with the Versamark. Alright, Rhonda says she loves the stinkers. I do too. I do have 3 little black dots that we're going to use. And let's talk about sizes. I did not grab envelopes. So we have a standard base and envelope, which you don't see. That's okay. White Daisy 4 by 5 1/4. Same with this little black piece. These papers are from the Current Mix In paper packet. And we have one same size, 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have some smaller pieces. What do we got here? I didn't write them down. So this is going to be not quite 3/4. When you cut 2 of these from a strip, if you cut a strip of 4, if you cut a strip that's 4 by 12 and you take out 2 pieces that are 5 1/4, you end up with a piece that is 1 1/2. So this piece is just one of those 2 pieces. So it's approximately 3/4 of an inch. Yep, pretty close. By 4. And then this should just be 1/2 an inch of black. And this is just a scrap that I had. We're going to put our sentiment on there. And this is 1 1/2 by 5 1/2. And our white daisy piece is 2 inches by 2 3/4, which means this one is 2 1/8. Yeah. So it's just 1/8 of an inch bigger. All right. So, do you want to see the card that we're going to make? Or do we want to make the card first? I'll show you. This is our card. Look at this. Of course, it still does not want to focus. But, so it's mostly black and white. There's a little bit of the kind of mink in here because of this. Anyway. Alright, let's make this. So, we will do our stamping first so it can dry. And I know I could put a new sheet here to make this so pretty for you guys every time, but I feel like that's such a waste of paper, and I did not want to do that. Alright, so I'm actually going to put a little piece of tape. I am using my ATG today because my other one is MIA. I still haven't found it from last week. I don't know where it went. All right. So my little guy, I think he actually has a divot. And so I need to contact Close My Heart and let them know, and they will replace that for me. Actually, I just haven't done it yet because this is the only guy that I've used so far. See how he kind of has that space in the middle? As you can tell, I managed to get most of it, but if you ever have a stamp that happens with, you have a couple options. One, you can do nothing, which not the best option, I don't think, but it is still an option. Two, if you are a customer instead of as opposed to a maker, so a customer and VIP, then contact your maker, the person that you purchased through, to get your set, and they can get that replaced for you, or you can contact Close My Heart directly as well. Oh, you know what? There's that one little spot by his ear. Let's see if we can get that. And yes, today he's a he. Next time, he might be a she. Anything is possible. I think it depends on the card that I make. There we go. Nice and black with an extra little line because of a hair. That's okay. I'm gonna keep it. Mostly because I don't have another piece cut right now. But that's okay. Alright, since we're stamping, this piece is a little bit long. Again, I'm going to put down a little bit of tape. I do want it a little bit sticky, just not super sticky. And this is going to be too long, so I'm just going to snip it. So I am going to put it here in the corner, get it all lined up, and then I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to grab my embossing pouch. I'm just going to tap that on there. And then I can put this back in and it'll be in the right spot and I don't have to touch it. And so one less worry about my fingers on the cardstock. All right. So Versamark is usually pretty good about getting good coverage. I don't press super hard because the harder you press, the more you spread the ink and the less it will grab your powder. So I press it and I let go. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab another card base because I forgot to grab some scratch paper. Sometimes if you get the powder here along the what is that called? I know what that's called. The twirly part that closes your jar. Oh, I had it. Dang it. Anyway, threads. There we go. Then it'll be super hard to open and close. So I am using my scissors because I have just a tiny little thing in there. And I do not have a brush, at least not handy, that would be small enough to get that. All right. Put this back. Cover. And then here's a little trick that I learned. I went and I got this tiny little cutting board from a thrift store. I think I paid $1 for it, maybe. And I'm going to just attach this with a clip, and then I don't have to worry about my hands getting burnt. I'm going to pre-warm up my heating tool. Rhonda, the lip of the jar, yes. But I was talking about not only the lip, that is good, I didn't point that out, but the threads that lock it closed. All right, so I know this one's not nearly as loud, so that's a good bonus. And try to, let's see if I can get this so you guys can see. Oh, it's already even started. Of course, it does not want to focus. So it is all melted goodness. See if I can get it. There we go. It's nice and shiny all the way across. Now, what we could do, as you see here on the eye, I have a little bit that didn't stick. If we wanted to, we could put this in and we could re-stamp it and re-powder it and whatnot, but I think we will be good without that. So, but this is a great idea because it keeps some of the heat. Like, obviously you're not going to burn yourself, it's wood, but it's handy. Okay. Trying to keep things out of the way so we can be organized here. All right. Some gluing. So here we have our card base. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the back side of my paper because it's already black, and I'm going to put my little stinker upside down on the back side on the paper, so that just in case it's not dry completely and I'm twisting and turning it, I can twist the bottom paper and the ink is not going to smear on my desktop. It's not going to smear on any other projects. This guy on here. And flip upside down. I know I have one that we started last week, but it's kind of hidden in my drawer. We've had an ant invasion in my house this whole year. It's been bad, but it got really bad, and I had to unplug everything under my desk so that we could do so we could clean the carpets under there and get rid of what was under there. And in doing so, things got moved around and jostled and whatnot. Okay, so that is ready for us in a moment. Let's glue the rest of this. All right, card base, background. Normally I would use the regular smaller glue for you guys, but like I said, it went MIA last week. I don't know where it went. Alright, so we're just centering that piece. This piece you can use either side. Either one would be fun, I think. And this piece will go all the way across our card, edge to edge. And we're going to put that approximately 1/3 of the way. Doesn't have to be exact, just approximate. All right, the inside, have our little piece. Super simple. I like to use as much of the piece that I can if I'm cutting off of a 12 by 12. One, to be frugal, and two, so I don't have tiny, tiny little pieces at the end when I'm done with that paper bag. Because I don't want to throw the pretty paper away. I know I'm not the only one. But I also don't want to keep tiny, tiny little pieces. Alright, so inside is done, front is half done. We are going to create a banner edge at the end, or a fishtail. Got myself all messy here with the stamping already. Our sentiment is going to be just glued straight down to the card. If you want, you can trim off some of this edge so you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to stick out. And this, I'm not gonna quite center it. I'm gonna have it down on the bottom half of the piece. And I thought I'd grabbed my little garbage container, but apparently I did not. But this would be a great card for any number of reasons. Like you're given, you know, somebody is moving away, somebody is taking a new job. Oh my gosh, I had some great different ideas. Oh my goodness. Flipping everything onto the floor. But a fun one would be like if you are a patient at, I should have put this, let's see if I can move this a little bit. If you're a patient at a hospital or a nurse at like a long-term facility or something that people come in quite frequently for, like this would be something kind of fun to give for somebody who doesn't have to come back anymore or who gets to go home or something like that. Like that would be super fun. Like I can see my friend Mary is a NICU nurse and she does all sorts of fabulous things. But wouldn't this be super fun to do with maybe brighter colors for the NICU babies to go home? I think that would be a fabulous idea, and I'm actually going to make sure to tag her when I get done with the video, because I think she would love that idea. I can actually kind of hear her reaction. So anyway, that is that card. Oh wait, I almost forgot. Oh, my dots are flying. All right. I'll just use my piercing tool to pick up these fancy smancy dots that already have the adhesive on the back. Like that's one of the best parts. It's already sticky, you don't gotta glue it. So that is that, as they say. How cute are those cards? Adorable. No coloring. No coloring. Great. If you wanted to make it even easier, you could use some White Daisy craft ink instead of embossing, and that would make it go a little bit faster. I would still recommend the Misty, whether it be the mini or the regular size, because the more layers of craft ink that you put down, the brighter the color will be. And so I would recommend at least 2, maybe 3 inkings of it. You know, just like with the black, the more you do, the more solid the color becomes. I think that's the right word, or at least the one I'm looking for anyway. All right, next, this card ended up so elegant. I don't even know. Okay, quick sip of water. Okay, first preface. We are actually using papaya cardstock. However, I cannot use papaya ink because every single time I remember to order it, it is out of stock. So I can't order it. So therefore, I cannot use papaya ink to go with my papaya papers. But this card, because of the mix-in paper, yes, more mix-in, it turned out nice that this melon ink pad works perfectly. I am not going to say it's the same color as papaya, but it is close. I do have a sticker. It's, oh my gosh. Okay, well, the sticker says it's darn near the same color, but I don't know that that's actually the case. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, let's get started. We have a papaya card base, and I just cut that from a piece of papaya cardstock. No, we don't carry card bases in all the colors, although that would be super cool. All right, so we are scoring this at 4 1/4. And that is all the scoring that we're doing. You do want to burnish it though, because that makes it all better. All right. We do have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece for the inside, of course. We have a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, right? 5 3/8, yep. Piece, again, this is the mix-in, and it's so pretty. Like, this would be fun. That would be such a fun card. But this one, even though it's super grungy, makes it elegant. It's so funny. Anyway. Okay, so what other things? We are going to use the papaya shimmer trim. We are using retired mink twine. If you have a white baker's twine, that would work beautifully here as well. But because some of the grungy areas are kind of muted, it works really well. Okay, so then we have some tiny pieces. So when you cut 2 card bases from a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, you have a piece that is 1 inch on one side and a piece that's 3 1/2 inches on another side. And so I cut these pieces from that. I should have another piece. Oh, there it is. It's hiding. And so, like I was saying earlier, I try to use all the little scraps and stuff. So this piece is based off the white piece. All right. So in this instance, our white piece is 5/8 of an inch by 2 1/4. Okay. So this one is going to be 3/4 of an inch. by, it's 2.5, but it could be a little bit longer, it could be a little bit shorter because we're going to trim it a specific way. And this is the 1/4 inch piece cut from that 3/4 inch piece, right? And that's going to be decorative on the inside. And then we have a piece of vellum that is just about 2.5 by 1 3/4. This one doesn't have to be exact, but that's okay. All right, we are using the, I forget what this is called, Shared Happiness. As of Tuesday, 2 days ago, it was still available. It's such a pretty set, you guys. If you don't have this, I highly recommend it. I apologize. I don't know why I just got the yawns, but the sentiments are fabulous. I use them quite frequently. And it has nice little leaves and the sentiments, and anyway, it's beautiful. But we are using the Just Because and we are going to stamp it on our white daisy piece here. Sorry, I know that's kind of loud. So this is why I was so happy that this fits so well color-wise, because I wanted the sentiment to fit into, and I'm not sure if it's technically a monochromatic because it's got white, but I think so. But all right, we're just going to center this on our piece, left, right, top, bottom. And that is all of the stamping we're doing. All right, and then what we're going to do, I'm just making sure my edges are flat. I'm being careful to not possibly smear my ink. We are going to not glue that yet. We're going to create an angle on our sentiment piece, and we're going to try to keep it the same, right? We want it to be equal on both sides. I think it's pretty close. Maybe I'll trim this one just a little bit more. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then we're going to glue this onto our papaya piece, and we're going to just center, top, bottom, left, right. And then we're going to trim to match the angle on the end, and we're going to match the spacing that the top and the bottom have. Or we're going to attempt to, anyway. Does not have to be perfect, because just like cutting your own bangs, if you'll have no hair if you just keep going. All right, and since we have our scissors out, we're going to just trim a little angle on the bottom of that. And now we're going to kind of move some things so we can bring in the Versamat. All right. I guess I will do this at the top so that you guys can see it, because I cannot get the bottom into screen. So again, I just put a little tack strip on the back. And I guess you should decide top or bottom. Actually, I kind of like that. Of your piece before you just tack it down. And then we're going to add our shimmer trim. Now because this is an 1/8, I'm actually going to readjust so that my bottom is along an actual line. Okay. And then I am going to put my trim at 1.5 inches. And in this case, wait. Is that the right number? That is the right number. And then I'm just going to center on that 1.5 inches. That's why. So the easiest thing to do, I know I've tacked this down and I've moved it a bunch of times. So I am going to pick a mark, so in this case the 8-inch line, and I'm going to bring my paper down to the 1/2 inch. Right, so it's technically at 7.5 along that bottom. That way my 9-inch mark is exactly that 1.5, and it will make it super easy to line this up. So I just peel a whole bunch, and I do come off my piece just a tiny smidge, and then come over to the far side. And I don't want to pull, don't want to tug too much on the shimmer trim, because you can stretch it a little bit and then it'll make your paper curve and bend. So notice I haven't cut it off. I did not cut a strip to put on here. I do it off of the roll, and then I trim off my paper piece. So A, frugal, we mentioned that earlier, and B, it gives me the ability to create the tail to start the next time I'm using my trim. And then I just trim off this other side as well. This piece does not want to let go of me. All right, so this is our piece so far. Now, I've already straightened out some of this. Hopefully it'll be enough. Yeah, looks like it. All right, so I am going to put, I'm sorry, I know I keep getting distracted because this looks so crooked to me. And while technically it is a little bit crooked, it's not as crooked as my eyeballs keep telling me it is. All right, so I have I can feel my trim right here, so I'm going to run a little bit of glue there. And same on the other side. Okay, so I have 2 spots of glue. And I am going to take my twine and have it kind of centered but not exact center. I'm going to run that over to the back. I'm going to bring it across. And this part's easier if you lay this down. And I'm just going to create a loop. Right, you don't have to use your tool. This is just me doing it so you can see, and press that down. Right, like this. And then I can bring this back across my paper. Now, if you pull too hard, you'll pop it right off this glue. So don't pull too hard. And then just tack that down and cut off your twine. Make any adjustments that you'd like. Right, and so now we have our piece like this. And we have saved a boatload of twine. So in this particular instance, that is approximately 4 inches. It's a little bit over actually. We'll say it's like a 1/16 under 4 1/4. So we'll go with 4. That's 8 inches of twine that you saved for another project. And it's really not all that hard to do. All right, let's attach this. So when you're adding glue, you want to add glue over your twine so that it is sandwiched between glue and attached to your project base. And then we're just going to center this on our card base. And you're going to have just a tiny little border. All right. Beautiful already, right? So pretty. Rhonda says she's tries so hard to keep that tail on there, but ends up cutting it so frequently. And I think, Rhonda, even if you were doing like I was doing, it's so easy to just snip the whole thing. It's so easy. So I get it. I do. All right, done with that. Let's add our insides. So again, it's just a piece. I cut it 4 1/8, and so this one is going to be too long, and that's okay because I got scissors. Let's go ahead and add some glue on this one as well. Oop. And like I said, just this little thing, it's just using up some of the paper so I don't keep it. Plus it adds an extra little oomph on the inside of the card. This ruler just does not want to stay on the table. And this would be one of those cards that it would be super easy to do, to have your card ready like this and then just add sentiments later, or have a bunch of them stamped, and so you can just grab and go and be ready with whatever you need. All right, so this part's the tricky part. It's not hard, but it is kind of tricky. All right, we need foam tape. We will also need glue dots.
These are buried in my drawer. One moment.
All right, mini glue dots. I tried a number of different things, did not work out great. So, and we'll also want our person glue. We are going to add glue on both edges on the back of our sentiment. And this is going to seem bizarre to you, I understand, but trust me. All right, then we are going to take our foam tape. We're going to use our non-stick scissors. And we're going to add our foam tape right in the center. Now, if you did not get your glue all the way to the edges, go back and make sure you do that before you put your foam tape on. I'm not really getting any closer there. And if that means you need to go off the edge, then the easiest way to fix that is take your finger and just roll it. Don't brush, don't do this, just roll it and it'll stick to itself on the backside. Best tip on how to fix your rolled on glue. Okay, you want that piece as centered as possible. All right, your vellum sometimes will have a natural curve to it depending on how small or large your piece is. This one kind of wants to curve this way, but we want it to curve this way instead. So its natural curve in our case does not matter. So we are going to attempt to get and keep our vellum straight. So I'm going to move to a line here. Oh my goodness. It's only being this difficult because of the video. I promise. So as long as when you're doing this, you're not recording for video, you will be good. All right. So I am taking my little stylus and I am burnishing my vellum into that glue that we put down. Okay. Then we're going to take the bone folder and we're going to curl our paper. You want to do your best to not crease it. Okay, so once it's about this, okay, then we're going to bring this back in, and if you line up here, let me see if I can get you closer. I don't think I can. Nope. All right. So I know it's going to be hard to see. I apologize. All right. So we're going to line up our piece on our lines again, like we did before. We have our vellum lined up. In this case, we have it lined up on an inch line because on this mat, the inch lines are a little bit bolder than the rest. And then we're going to bring this around and we're going to line up on that inch line. And let's see if this helps. Oh, this helps so much. If you have chubby fingers like me, grab yourself some reverse tweezers. And on this side over here, we have it lined up on that same inch mark. Add a burnish, and then remove your tweezers. And then go in and burnish some more. Okay, so now we have a tube of vellum with our sentiment attached, right? We are going to remove the backing paper. Yes, you can do it before, but it makes it a little bit trickier because then you have to make sure you don't attach your vellum to that piece. All right. And then you are going to push down and you're going to try to keep the vellum on the top and the bottom fairly equal. And so we have kind of a little bow tie-esque look on our sentiment. Okay, so we are going to use maybe 4 glue dots. We are going to use 2 between the twine and the shimmer trim. So we want to kind of figure out where we want our sentiment. And again, we're putting it about 1/3 in. Grab your piercing tool and pick up your glue dot. And we're just going to glue the twine down to the glitter. I am using mini dots, but you could use larger if that's what you've had. As long as they are within the width of your sentiment strip, then you should be just fine. All right, so now we're going to flip over our sentiment and we are going to add some glue dots in here. I'm actually going to use 3 of the minis so that I have good tack. And we're going to make sure our sentiment is right side up, that it is straight and centered on our glitter and twine, and then we're going to press down. And voila, we have our card done. How about that? I love how simple and elegant this is. I love that you get both colors of the cardstock, and I did the one I just did, I did backwards. Originally I had done the lighter side on the outside and the darker on the inside, which just looking here, it's really hard to tell, but when you open them, you can tell the difference. So there is that. And Whatever. We're crooked a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. We're not perfect. We don't expect to be. Right? Alright. Move things out of the way. Let's come back to this card. So this is the card that you saw at the beginning. And it's, I gotta say, it's super fun. So, again, the inside with a little strip of paper there. And this is a Joyfold card. And so we have one opening here and another here. So I made 2 pockets. You don't have to, but again, it's using those bits and pieces of papers so that you don't have to carry over a lot of them. So, and the reason I did this, a lot of times, when you see these cards, it's all cardstock. It's not all cardstock. It's cardstock with pretty paper, right? Like we literally just did. But I wanted to show off the fact that we have beautiful patterns on both sides of our papers, and I thought this was the best way to do that. Plus it's super cute, so why not, right? So let's get started. We have a Lagoon card base. Again, I created, we don't carry. It's a traditional 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We have white for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. We have, this is 4 by 8 1/2. And these papers are from the Celebrate You paper pack. Celebrate You, right? Celebrating You. All right, so 3 by 7 1/2. And this is just a piece for the inside. It's 1/2 inch. It's a little bit long, but that's okay. We'll fix that. This comes off of this piece here. Probably goes something like that. Yep. And so this is essentially 1 3/4 by 4. And then we have a cardstock piece that is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And that will be everything. And we're not even going to do any stamping for this one. This one is going to be all stickers and folds and whatnot. So let's get the scoreboard. Alright, so on our cardstock piece, we are going to score 2 sides, 1 long and 1 short, at 1/2 inch. If your cardstock has a directional print to it, you are going to want to do, you are going to want to do the left side and the bottom with the 1/2 inch marks. All right. So our 3 by 7 1/2, we are scoring at 3 3/4. And our 4 by 8.5. We are scoring at 5 1/4. And that's all the scoring. We are now ready to put this card together. So let's fold and burnish all of our pieces. So then on our cardstock piece, we are going to miter the corners. It's always better to go from the score line out than it is to go from the outside into the score line. And then we're going to create a diagonal. This does not have to be a perfect diagonal, although you might want to use a paper trimmer for it. So I'm just going to go from the corner at the top. I literally am just going to go corner to corner on this one. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. Doesn't matter. All right, let's add some glue next to the score lines on our flaps. Tuck in any of our glue overhang. Again, just rolling it from front to back. And we are attaching this to the left. I apologize. We are attaching this to the left bottom. So I found it easiest to flip it over and make sure it's lined up in the corner by pushing pressure this way with my right hand and holding the cardstock, and then just, if you put down the short end first, then you can let go of that and fold up the bottom, and you have less bendage to a degree on your piece. Okay. Add our inside decoration. And again, this is too long. This was just one of the pieces left over after cutting what we needed. Attach the inside on the fun fold cards. If you're doing an inside like this with some busy stuff on the front, it is easier to do the inside first, and then you're not fighting with the weight that's on the front of your card. Okay, now of course, decide which way you want your paper to go. When I had this the opposite direction, I thought it was a little bit too busy with this paper, and so that's why I chose to put it the way I did. And we are just going to add our adhesive. Most joyful fold cards that you see do not also have this regular card base. This is the card itself, is this, and so again, that's because I wanted to show off our paper and show the fun two-sidedness of the paper. We're just centering all around. Give that a press and a burnish. And we're going to add glue to the back of our balloons. And then we are just going to center this, and if you would like, you can use your reverse tweezers. I wish we had these again. And we're just trying to center this, like literally just right in the center of the card. Give that a press, open things up, give another press. Is that straight? Maybe not, but that's okay. All right, and then last thing before decoration is our other pocket. Now, if you did not want to have a pocket here on the side, you don't have to do that. But again, trying to use up all that paper, I decided that I was going to go ahead and do that. And so we're just going to put a thin bead of glue along two short and one long side of our paper here. When I was in high school, our attendance clerk did not like that band. I don't remember why, but I was 2 minutes late or something, 2 minutes shy of something, and I said too short. And she wouldn't approve whatever it was because I made that reference. It wasn't even a band I listened to, but anyway. Stickers. You can do whatever you would like. Let's see. Now, let me go back here. You do not have to have something on here to make this close, right? You could just have it just like this. And maybe whatever you put on here is heavy enough, it keeps it mostly closed. Or, if you are putting gift cards in it, like we are, you can have a closure on it, which is what we are going to do. You just need to make sure that there is enough space on the side that you can have your item attached to, so that your flap can tuck underneath it. which means you don't want it to overhang onto the flap at a great amount. So, let's see. Birthday wishes, not a great tuck. I think these balloons actually might be ever so slightly too large. It would be perfect tuck, it's just the wrong size. So how about a present? That would be pretty decent. So what do we put on the rest of this? This keeps getting caught. All right, let's see. We do hip hip hooray. The present is slightly too large. But what we could do, well, this would be fun. All right, so let's do hip hip hooray. So let's go ahead and press that down. And then let's use a cupcake. And then we can add a cupcake on the other side to kind of balance this out. Or maybe we just do a tower of cupcakes, just 2 cupcakes. All right, so I'm not gluing it down yet. I just want to see how that's going to look, and I think that will be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add foam on this one here so that it can be tall enough. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in, I call this my dusting mat. This is the backer of a previous sticker sheet. And I don't know if you can see, probably not, but I have embossing powder, embossing pouch powder on here. And so now I'm just going to go over anything that is exposed sticker wise. Give it a burnish so it stays stuck. And then blow off some of that powder. Alright, so we stuck the foam tape on first. So it has a double adhesion. It has the sticker plus the adhesive on the foam. And that way it's going to stick really well because the powder is made to make it not stick very well. So we want to stick it before that point. And then Now, I have my foam in here, and you can kind of see where I have it catching on this here. And so you want to make sure that it doesn't come past, because you don't want it to glue it down. And there, you have a little closure. And so you can take your little cards and you can add them to your little card here. And then you still have plenty of space to write your message. And you get to see all of that fun paper. So that makes 3. That's pretty decent time tonight, I think. So what do you think about our cards today? I thought they were super fun. So these two use the mix-in pack that's currently available. This uses the Celebrating You paper pack and coordinating sticker sheet. Of course, coordinating cardstock as well. We have the April, no, it's not April anymore, it's May. May the 4th be with you. Yes. So the May stamp of the month. And then we have, what is this again? Shared Happiness stamp and thin cut set. We did not use the thin cuts, but just think of how pretty that would have been just tucked back behind there before we glued everything down. Obviously thin cut, this is on a scrap. That would have been super pretty. Anyway, that's for another time. Anyway, those are our cards for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me, whether you were here for the live or if you're watching on replay. I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps me get out in front of other crafters, and so they can have a free class as well. So thank you again, and I hope to see you guys next week. Have a great week. Thanks. Bye.